So what I've done here is created a mold using Creative Paper Clay. I'm kind of cutting in after I got started, but better late than never, right? And so I'm getting ready to put another, so what I've done is taken a cardboard dress form, and I have covered it with a piece of press and seal wrap. And I left an opening in the back so that I could easily pull it off once it's dry. I also just smoothed some protective gel, and I actually got this out of a hair kit, believe it or not, but just smoothed it over the press and seal so that it would easily come off. So, and I see this area is a little dry, so I'll just put a little more on there. The thing about the clay, it does dry fast. It air dries, so you don't have to cook it or anything. And it's got to stay moist. So you want to store yours in a good heavy-duty plastic wrap bag or something. Okay, and then I'm just dampening this so I could work with it easily. My little piece I've taken off, and I'm just molding it in. So what I want to do is I'm just making a top half of a dress form, but the bottom half I want to be kind of decorative. So it's going to have some shape. The great thing about paper clay is you could paint it. You could actually knead paint into it before you even get this far. And you could knead other stuff into it. I kneaded glitter into it and paper, grass one time. So there's a lot of things you could do with it. And what did kneading grass into it do, you might ask? Well, it just gave it a different texture and actually made it look like homemade paper. You know, that stuff you get at the specialty store. I'm only putting this on the front half because I want to be able to take it off, because I'm going to incorporate it into another piece of art. So that's how you get that on. Smooth it down, keep your fingers wet, and it'll work easily for you, and you can work fast with it. The thinner it is, the more it'll break apart, so you might want to build up and then thin down. Well, at least that's what works for me. Okay, so it's kind of messy. I'm outside, so I'm confining my mess to this board because I don't want a big mess to have to clean up. I usually sit out here till it starts getting dark, so I want to get as much done as I possibly can. You know, this dries to me relatively fast. I do suggest that you let this dry completely overnight before you go on to the next step of your design. Look at her. Oops, we don't want to kill her now. Now, paintbrush, you could do things like so let's see if we want to, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Let's decorate the bottom. Let's bring the bottom out. So you can just press this in there like that. Because remember, it's going to dry however you do it. Okay, 24 hours later, here we are with our project. Okay, so as you can see, it's all dry. And it's ready for sanding. And so if you remember, I just used my dress form. I covered it in press and seal and lightly covered it with petroleum jelly. You can use any oil as long as it's really smooth, and you can you can smooth it out. You don't want this thing to be really greasy. You just want it to act as a release to get it off. Then I am going to sand this down. I'm using a 100 medium sand block, medium grit. You can use what works for you. You want to hold this very lightly. Just sand it till it's as smooth as you want it. If you want it to be super smooth, you might want to start out smoothing it like that while you're making it, and that way it'll be so much easier to sand when you're done, as opposed to if you're trying to get out a whole bunch of bumps and stuff. You don't want to break it. So I just want mine to be kind of ancient looking, which is what I'm going for, as you'll see when I finish the project. So I'm not really going to smooth the bumps on mine. I did it on purpose. I just want it to look really old and ancient. We'll see if I can get there. Anyway, that's how easy that is. So I'm going to go in and do mine, then I'm going to color it, glaze it, show you what it looks like when it's finished. That was a super easy project. And all you needed was paper clay, ready to be dirty hands, open creative mind, and water. How simple is that for a fun project?